Hello everybody, and today is July 20th, it's a Sunday, and welcome to Enjoy the Movies, where I now put in my 2 cents about movies. Now, just got a few left before I finally catch up, because I've been watching movies still in the last couple weeks, although I've been going to the theater, so I've actually been seeing newer movies. And it's also convenient that we have a dollar theater nearby, so that makes watching movies pretty affordable, so. Alright, a couple movies I want to talk about today. The Incredible Hulk, Hellboy 2, and Speed Racer. So, let's just talk about the movies. The Incredible Hulk, the new one, not Hulk that came out a few years ago. One of my friends made this observation a little while back, where they usually wait like a decade before they make a sequel, but in this particular case they waited maybe a couple of years. And that was kind of interesting to note that it came out all of a sudden, but I didn't realize that they made it because they were trying to vamp up for the Avenger movie. So, anyway, when watching The Incredible Hulk, you actually see a cameo from Tony Stark, Robert Downey, and that I think is probably going to tie into later. Anyway, so, The Incredible Hulk, action-packed movie, played the main character, basically the guy who plays the Hulk, his name's, what's his name? Bruce Banner. He's Edward Norton, excellent actor. I don't know too many bad movies that he's in, so I definitely thought he did a great job with this movie. I will admit that I haven't seen the first Hulk, so there wasn't too many comparison points there, but I'd heard a lot of bad things about it, so it probably was a lot better. Anyway, so, The Incredible Hulk, the new one, definitely recommend. I liked it a lot. Very action-packed. Thought there was quite a bit of interesting things going on. There was a lot of interesting character dynamics. I think a lot of the new superhero movies, especially Marvel, they're trying to focus on characters and maybe trying to be more genuine to what they were in the comic books, as opposed to just trying to get it out the door with special effects for the little kids, you know. So I am actually respecting that detail that they're trying to pay attention to nowadays. So that's The Incredible Hulk. Definitely recommend. Thought it was pretty good. Definitely worth a watch. So I'd probably say you have to watch that one. Alright, next one I want to talk about is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. If you have seen the first Golden Boy, not Golden Boy, sorry, slipped my mind. I'm so used to talking about this anime Golden Boy, but that's a totally different topic altogether. Anyway, so if you've seen the first Hellboy, that one was pretty much the origin story of Hellboy. Not really the entire origin story, but you kind of find out where he came from and things like that. But this one actually focused more or less, you know, the established situation, so they can actually take it and use it, and you pretty much run its course along whatever story they decide to take. And they decided to share about this mythology in the movie about this golden army that was created. Now, the thing about this, it's more like fantasy, action, drama, comedy. No, there wasn't even that much drama. It was fantasy, action, comedy. Hellboy 2, I actually thought it was a lot more funny than I thought it was going to be. So there's a lot of funny parts to it. So definitely a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, a lot of just straight-up Banff humor. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it was actually pretty good, very entertaining, very enjoyable. There was a handful of good action scenes. I also want to say that this movie was probably a lot more action-packed than I thought. There would be scenes where it would go action, a little bit of talking, more action, and maybe about the 5th or 6th action scene, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of action in this movie, and we barely had time to breathe, but it was only like maybe 10-15 minutes through into the movie, so I was actually pretty excited. Needless to say, I definitely enjoyed Hellboy 2. I think it was, in my personal opinion, better than the first one, or if not, it definitely delivers more satisfaction than the first one. The first one was pretty good. They had to develop those, so I can kind of understand that. But Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, definitely recommend, definitely worth a watch. So, especially if you're a huge action superhero fan. Not to say that Hellboy doesn't have his vices, but anyway, they're starting to get more realistic with these characters. There's actually this new movie out in theater that I wanted to watch, but I didn't get a chance to. It's called Hancock. It's apparently about Will Smith being this superhero that's a bum. But I'll watch that some other time. All right. Last movie I want to talk about was Speed Racer. I decided to go to that dollar theater that I mentioned for this movie because Well, there wasn't really anything else crazy to watch that I hadn't already seen, and I didn't want to watch anything too heavy, so I decided to watch Speed Racer. And it's actually a crazy interesting movie. Okay, let me just mention first of all, Speed Racer. I think the targeted audience was young little kids. I definitely think they missed the mark on that one. It's rated PG. I felt like it should have been rated maybe PG-13. Now, first of all, Speed Racer, it's about this kid in a family. Their last name is Racer. His first name's Speed. So that by itself I thought was pretty funny. But aside from that, the entire movie takes place around this world where a lot of things in racing affect other things, and the way that they race is pretty ridiculous. It's kind of like Mario Kart plus Twisted Metal on crack in real life. So that's really the only way I feel like I could accurately describe it. If you don't know anything about video games, well, you must have heard of Mario Kart before. You might not have heard of Twisted Metal, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. So the beginning of the movie is very cheesy. The first, like, 1/3 of the movie, it's very bright and colorful, definitely seeming like it's targeted for the younger audience. It even looks like, I don't know if you've ever seen anything from that show, you know, little kid show, Lazy Town. It's very bright and like that. There's bright yellows and blues and pinks, and I'm just, wow. And I was thinking, wow, there's no way this is going to be good. Needless to say, it wasn't that great, and in the end, but I was highly amused, and I'll tell you why. Pretty much most of the movie is going to be driving, so if you don't like driving, forget about this movie. If you like street racing or, you know, track racing, it might be worth a watch just because there's so many amazing race scenes. Now, what I mean when I say amazing is that it builds tension well. If you're looking for realistic driving, this is definitely not the movie. If you want realistic driving, don't watch this movie. So, also, I was wondering what the budget for this movie was, because in all honesty, it seemed like every scene had pretty much CGI elements, so it was definitely pre-rendered, I would imagine, and everybody just filled everything in, and it was very bright and colorful, so I don't know if any of you guys out there like to get trippy or who knows what. This might be one to watch, or maybe drunk. You know, definitely feel like it could be a movie to watch drunk. And anyway, I also think it was not for the kids, just because there was at least 5 or 6 huge, you can't even mistake them for not being sexual innuendo jokes, because it was so ridiculous and utterly blatant. What else? There was also, I felt like it was not geared towards little kids, because about halfway through the movie they started talking about things that might be over little kids' heads. Maybe older kids now, like, you know, 8, 9, 10, they might actually have some semblance of an understanding, but like kids that are 4 and 5, they probably don't understand, you know, the implications of the stock market, which they started to talk about, the implications of, you know, crime and mobs and things like that, which, you know, a lot of us older, I don't even know how to describe this without making it politically incorrect, but people who are older than little kids. I think this would probably be better geared towards maybe teenagers or young adults that either A, like ridiculously cheesy humor with some sort of story, and lots of crazy jumping cars with weapons and killing each other, and ridiculously non-realistic driving maneuvers, and lots of nice pretty colored visuals and shinies and things like that. But anyway, so Speed Racer, not that great a movie, but I enjoyed it. I actually liked it a lot. I would probably watch it again. I wouldn't pay full price, of course, but I'd either rent it or maybe go to the Dollar Theater again. And only because it's so ridiculous and it's hilarious at the same time. I'm not sure if you guys knew Speed Racer was based on an old Japanese anime show called Speed Racer. And obviously it was about a kid racing, and he always won. Well, he was always really good. So that's pretty much where this movie takes from. But it's a live-action movie, and they kept a couple of things fairly accurate. There was Speed Racer's younger brother. There was the monkey, Chim Chim. He was in there. I think overall they got some sort of feeling of what Speed Racer was all about, but I think they marketed it wrong. So, oh well. Anyway, Speed Racer. Thought it was okay. For most people, you probably don't want to watch it. It's not going to be that great. It's not going to be that entertaining for you. But if you know you're the type of person that would like basically what I just explained to you, it could be worth a watch. So, Speed Racer, eh. So, I enjoyed it though. I liked it. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about for today. I got a couple more things to do. Maybe put up another video. And you guys have a good night. Enjoy the movies.